If you have that one thing going on with your car, you know, it's just bugging you, and you know you eventually have to deal with it, but not quite sure how to go about doing it. So you kind of put it off, and you just, well, I finally got something done today. Something that had been bugging me for a while. Done.
So the body shop kind of hit many areas of my engine compartment with the gray version of POR15, and you know, they applied it with a spray gun, and it's pretty thin. Not really happy with the paint over rust application for this job. You know, POR15 is amazing stuff, but you gotta apply it right. Doubting that it was.
So I'm gonna hit this bottom frame piece, just not happy with how the rust looks on there. It's like when they sprayed it, it was such a fine coat that it just didn't really cover. So I'm gonna fix it. First I gotta strip what's there, then I gotta metal prep it. I have never painted a car, painted any body panels, nothing like that. Painted parts, you know, with a spray can, whoop-de-doo. Pretty much had to read up on it, message boards, YouTube, watching videos, I don't know what to do. So that's the one thing about, you know, restoring your own cars. You learn so much stuff, and it's so worth it just to turn this stuff out by yourself. The knowledge is awesome, and the feeling of accomplishment is awesome. My compressor is grossly underpowered for using a spray gun, but that's what I got. So the silver POR15 has some actual aluminum powder in it to help keep its color and texture and all that. So I laid it on a little bit heavier right there where that heavy patch of rust was. Did that on purpose, just keep it clean. You know, as you can see, it's streaking. Obviously not from a paintbrush because I just sprayed it on. So yeah, I'm way happier with how this looks now than when I got it back from the body shop. Oh, that's way better. Totally. Feeling good about it. You know, that rusted section there, it's now sealed POR15. It's all good. Huge relief. Windy is pissed today. Hate that shit. Alright, so, cross member. Y'all ought to know that these two screws right here, there's one here, there's one on the other end. They face the front of the car. It's one of the reasons I get video when I'm tearing shit apart. If anybody knows the torque spec for these bolts holding the cross member to the frame, please leave it in the comment section down below. I have looked around, haven't been able to find it. Anyone? Bueller? So the battery hold down bolts, I got my battery tray ready to go back in. These things are a flange bolt, but look how large that flange is. That is big. So I'm going to need to use these same bolts again. I'm going to clean them up, get them plated. This one here is rusted to shit, so this guy's pretty bad too. This one's good. That'll clean up and plate nice. This one will probably clean up good. Look at this. Bumper hardware. You know that big fat park bench bumper that was in the front of this car? That had these big fat flange bolts that just happened to be just like the battery hold down bolts. Oh wait, that's a washer. Those are washers. But you know what? I'm gonna use those f***ers anyway. It has a large enough washer to be just like the flange bolt that came off the battery hold down tray. And since it's from the bumper that isn't going back on the car because I've done a conversion, it's totally available. You know, and the flange bolts that I have don't have this large of a flange. So I hesitate to use them for my battery hold down tray. Okay, it's time to tap out these
threads here. There's paint and primer and POR15 in there. That noise you hear? It's perfect neighbor Mike working on his Airstream, doing a restoration. He's also rebuilt this Toyota SR5 pickup. And inside the garage, he's got a Land Cruiser, like an early 70s Land Cruiser, all tricked out. He tears this stuff all the way down to the last nut, restores it right. Perfect neighbor Mike. So there's 4 bolts holding it on. 2 of them are OEM bolts. The other 2, look at all that corrosion. So couldn't use those. The bumper bolts that came on our 74 and 76 park bench bumpers, exactly the same. I am using Felpro anti-seize lubricant on these bolts since this is such a highly corrosive area of the vehicle. It's important. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to use anti-seize on lots of different things. Those bolts are 8x125 with a 12mm head. Done. Got a fuel line under here. Coming out of the fuel tank. Gonna get that all prettied up. Make it nice. Fuel pump mount, little spider webby. I'll clean it up. Gonna leave it in the vehicle, it's fine. It's looking nice. Everything down here is still shiny. This plate here got painted from the other side. Looks like overspray from the wheel well undercoat. These bolts, they're rusty, they gotta go. Probably should have lubed these up from the other side, but they're coming. Definitely should have put PB Blaster on them, but I got lucky, so we're good. So that's the shield that protects the fuel line that goes from the trunk floor back to the fuel pump, which is mounted underneath the left rear fender well. And today, and other things cool that keep me busy, we have this. Alright, here's my drop light I've had since, probably like 1982 or some damn thing. Works fine, it's just old, rusty. It's time to fix that. Alright, I got to clean it up and make it pretty bug, and now I'm gonna be prettying up my drop light housing. You know, and I could just buy a whole brand new drop light for like $8.99, but no. I gotta fix this one I've had since 1980 just because I can. Yeah, in the very beginning, I was down at Cardinal Paints in San Jose, picking out some powders because I knew I was going to powder coat, and I picked up this 80% chrome powder. I don't even know why. I'm just like, yeah, give me that. And I've been looking for a reason to use it, so here it is. There it is. So it's gone from rusty to pretty. Should work pretty good. Took very little effort. It's good. And that's where I'm going to end this episode, which brings me to the question of the day regarding plastic trim pieces, interior pieces, also the rubber pieces on the car. What are you guys using to restore these items? I need them to look brand new again. I've dabbled briefly with Armor All, had limited results. I need something a little more powerful, longer lasting. If you've got any experience with that, or even if you know someone that's used something that worked great, let's hear what you have to say about that in the comment section down below. Car fans, thank you for watching my Mazda RX3 restoration videos. Click subscribe, watch my previous episodes, and don't miss out on upcoming videos. Coming up next, rear end parts restoration, rear axle and suspension installation, front suspension assembly, and much more. Peace out, brother.